Hey there, YouTube crowd. It's it's like 3:30 a.m. right now, so we're streaming really quietly and talking about the duh economy. There's certainly an economy of duh right now. Uh, and so let's rant about it. For real, there's a whole economy of duh. And I'm not just talking about I'm not just talking about certain news pundits who will remain unnamed, or like certain YouTube creators who aren't even qualified to be called news pundits. But there's certainly a duh economy. You may notice a surplus of duh. And that is because when an economy craves a thing, you end up with a surplus of it. So if you if your economy craves fraud, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a lot of fraud. Did you know that? Isn't that an incredible proportion the way that works? Speaking of fraud, let's talk about man-made clouds. Oh no, there's one in the living room, folks. Oh no, my goodness graciousness, what will we do? You were winning at poker. Oh, nice. Congratulations. Somebody's got to be winning at something somewhere, that's for sure. So anyway, I'm just chilling down here with my man-made cloud, and it seems to be glowing in strange colors. It's probably because Harp is controlling this cloud. Oh no! Humans are steering this cloud, folks. Oh, look out. It's a man-made cloud. Oh, no. I'm so spooked. I'm so spooked. It seems to be changing colors. Must be because of frequency, bro. Am I right? It's because of frequency, bro. Frequency. You don't even know. What is there, a 5G tower right down the street from you, bro? Bro, yeah, bro. Bro, 5G towers, bro. You know what the solution is, though, right? Bro, buy bro, Bitcoin, bro. Not AARP. Quick, run into traffic. There is no traffic. It's 3:33. Oh, look at that. Oh no, look out, folks. It's 3:33. Oh no. It just says E to you guys because it's backwards. Yes. There we go. Oh, it's 3:33, folks. Oh no. Must be the Illuminati hour. I'm spooked. You're spooked. Your father's spooked. And a whole millions and millions of cultists are spooked. Oh, look out, it's green. Oh, Fox Mulder told me about stuff like this. Did you ever see The Matrix? This is proof we're living in a simulation, folks. Oh, no, I'm so spooked. Oh, what are we going to do when Elon Musk and Sam Altman get a hold of the source code of the simulation? Oh, I'm so spooked. They're going to make it so intelligent that not only will it take over the world, but you'll get a bug-free smartphone app. It'll be amazing. Oh my God, I can't wait. It's going to be such a delight. It's going to be so good when Elon and Sam Altman get a hold of the source code for the simulation. Pardon my sarcasm. There is no simulation. I made that intentionally for a clip, so that'll be in our shorts later, folks. Don't forget to visit our shorts. And I would type, but I don't think I can type in the chat while I'm streaming because reasons. Yeah, I'm censored in my own chat. How do you like that? Anyway. Ah, yes. Welcome, Gemma. Um, I actually slept because I went to bed at 8 o'clock. So anyway, I wanted to rant about how the economy isn't the stock market. So thanks for joining us, Dirk. But Dirk is old enough that Dirk already knows this. People equate the stock market to the economy. They go, the economy's great. The government claims inflation is halted in its tracks, and the stock market's at high levels, therefore it's good. And let's bring Bill Clinton into this. That would depend on what your definition of good is, and your definition of is. It would depend on what your definition of each word in the sentence is, because that's what determines what a sentence means. But in any case, the reason the stock market isn't the economy, because the economy is all the exchange of goods and services. You see. So if the quality has gone to and the price has gone to ding 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 ding, you can't afford it, then you're going to stop using it. I certainly hope so, because like the goods and services that I'm currently dealing with are crap. They're overpriced crap. I've noticed that humans are able to do 5% of their own f***ing jobs. Why is that? Not to be old-fashioned here, folks, but I'm pretty sure everybody's supposed to be able to do, I don't know, their own f***ing jobs. Isn't that? I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Check with me. Maybe look it up in a large language model. If you think I'm incorrect, that people ought to be able to do 100% of their own job. Problem is, people seem to be able to do like 5% of their job, leaving the other 95% to, I don't know, their clients? Like, it's insane. I mean, whose job can't you do for them in 2026? Seriously, I want to know. Whose job can't you do for them? Businesses are always great. They're always there when they need us. They're like France in World War II. They're great. They're always there when they need us. I mean, geez. With AI, people might be able to do up to 7% of their own jobs because they're currently accomplishing about 5%. So there's that. I mean, like, the list of incompetence each business I deal with, it seems like there's a downward spiral of incompetence going on, like for real, folks. Let me go stand under my man-made cloud some more, because I know people are very spooked of clouds nowadays, as that's a new thing now. Remember? Oh no, it's a man-made cloud, folks. Look the f*** out, yo. Just reading the comments here. If they use AI, they'll have to redo it though, because it often steers people wrong at the end. Yeah, it often steers people wrong at the end. And don't forget about steering people wrong at the beginning and in the middle. But besides that, it's really accurate. Scam Altman and Elon Musk and Sundar Pichai and Tim Cook and Satya over there at Microsoft, they all think that emergent behavior is just going to poof. Emergent behavior is just going to come out of nowhere and be like, look at me, I'm the singularity. Massive errors in your program code have summoned me to save your lives. That's what they think's going to happen. They've watched too many fucking sci-fi films. They don't know how coding works. They don't know how basic economics works. And they don't know how credibility works because they have none. So there's that. But hey, folks, you've got access to a lot of AI stuff that you don't want, and that bloats up everything, makes extremely fast computers operate extremely slowly, and is completely broken. So there's that. People who actually understand how to automate things have been automating things for a decade. And what's going on right now is that a bunch of pioneers in AI are automating things that could have been automated for a decade. The problem with the AI is the artificiality of it. And here's what's artificial. What's artificial is that it's intelligence. That's the only problem with it, folks. If it was just intelligent, it wouldn't be so fucking artificial. But unfortunately, it's completely artificial because it's completely unintelligent. In fact, here's a shocker for you. Large language models don't have any capacity at all to be intelligent. There is no possible way for an LLM to be intelligent because it's machine learning. So I think that might be what you'd consider misbranding, misleading investors, false marketing claims. I mean, however you want to put it, folks. What's artificial is that it's intelligent. Oh, 301 Keck is AI. Dirk says he's trans AI. Yeah, that's look, I'm not somebody who doesn't think there should be droids that are so smart that they appear like life forms because the code is so complex that you can't differentiate them from life forms because they behave intelligently. I'm not anti-automated stuff. I want automated stuff. I've been making automated stuff since before kindergarten by writing program code. So it's just hilarious that people are sold on this artificial intelligence. It's got no capacity for LLMs have no capacity for intelligence, period. You can make software that is so good that it behaves like a human. Yeah, that's a thing. But tying that together with more software that tells it how to move around in the environment and more software that tells it, I don't know, that tells it that it's liable for so for example, let me bring up one of the criticisms that I have for fully self-crashing cars. Fully self-crashing cars, I don't like them because the technology both associated with their sensors and with their, you know, driving are not perfected. And the roads are not a fucking laboratory for free testing of a bunch of junkware. Like, how did public roads become conflated with laboratories for testing AI? The public roads are definitely not laboratories for testing AI. Like, nobody should be out there letting their car drive itself. The amount of liability that you create for yourself when that happens, regardless of what Tesla or Waymo or anybody else says about it, I don't care if it's Ford or GM steering your car, they're not steering you very well. Like, at least non-Teslas have other instruments on them, like the Waymo cars, they have LiDAR, extremely expensive sensors. So, I mean, look, if you want to have fully self-crashing cars on the road and they're separated from all the other cars by concrete barriers that it's basically impossible for them to drive out of, okay. You want to build that infrastructure? Really? You want to have that nightmare? Fully self-crashing cars creating like miniature apocalypses when they pile up sometimes? I mean, is that really what you want? Because look, they're good at seeing Teslas are good at seeing lines and they're good at seeing lights. What they're bad at seeing is anything coming over a hill, anything that's not illuminated, anything that's not dark in color in terms of the background, anything that's not unexpected in the road, like a fire truck. So, I mean, Yeah, I mean, like there are subways, and look, you can, yeah, that's true. You can make tubes, right? You can make tubes for the fully self-crashing cars, because this way, same thing as a subway. If it turns into a miniature apocalypse, it doesn't destroy the surrounding world. It doesn't bleed into the other planes of existence. If you open a gateway to hell, see, this is why you don't open a gateway to hell, because it destroys the entire universe. So that's that's why those of us who are able to open gateways to hell just refuse to do that, because don't want to destroy the entire universe. It almost happened in the one episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Whoever watched that? That's one of my favorite shows of all time. I don't want to turn on the actual lights. It's like 4 o'clock. It's not even 4 a.m. yet. Turn on actual lights so I can actually see what I'm doing with my coffee maker. It's not what you do. Which brings me to skills. Get some. Get some. Buffy has great one-liners, right? Because Buffy's not only going to kick your ass, but she's going to make fun of you while she does it. And that's what's so great about the show. That's one of the best things. And interestingly enough, Sarah Michelle Gellar had to actually learn real kung fu. I think she learned Wing Chun Kung Fu, actually, for that. So that's the reason why the fight choreography looks so good. It's based on real martial arts. So, and it's just a well-made show. But but yeah, get skill. One of the skills that you ought to get is, what about blind fighting? That requires a little bit of technique, wouldn't you say? Blind fighting. Basically, I'll give you a hint about blind fighting, folks. Here's a free tidbit on YouTube for the whopping, 6 people that are joining. Blind fighting, the trick is memorization. You have to know where stuff is. Once you know where stuff is, you have to rely on your senses. And you might be able to sense things that you didn't even know you can sense. It's very interesting. But I digress. I won't be releasing too many secrets because releasing too many secrets is unwise. Obviously. Yeah. So, anyway, figured I would make coffee, extra coffee, since I got up extra early. But I did go to bed at like 8 o'clock. So, cheers. And yeah, it's it's an economy, all right. It's definitely an economy. It's a crumbling economy, shattered, crumbling economy, which is going to only see additional inflation moving forward, because there are all kinds of things happening. One of them is the continued inflation of the housing bubble. A certain bureaucrat in a position of extremely high power wants to keep the housing bubble not only inflated, but wants to actually make the housing bubble even bigger than it already is. In other words, there are some sociopaths out there who think the price of houses and rent is not quite high enough yet. Yeah, not quite high enough yet. Did you hear that? I'm not kidding. Somebody wants home prices to remain as ridiculously overvalued as they are, at least in terms of dollars. Somebody wants them as to stay as overvalued as they currently are, which basically means there's no incentive for rent prices to be lower or anything like that. It's only slated to be higher and higher and higher and higher, and expect additional inflation of the US dollar. Like that's the actual plan. That's the intentional plan currently of certain bureaucrats in power in the US government. So there's that. Yeah, they want, like, the Fed is about to inject a bunch of more cash into the US monetary system. So, I mean, you may or may not understand the way inflation works. And people think that inflation is the increase in the price tag. And that's not what inflation is. I mean, that's called price inflation. But what actual inflation, monetary inflation, is when the dollar itself loses value because there is more money in the money supply because of runaway lending and bond purchasing by the Fed. So, anyway, but I digress. Coffee, it's crucial to understand the economy. I'm just kidding. It's not crucial to understand the economy. I'm going to give you another fitness hack, folks. This is an interesting fitness hack. Check this one out. There is a stat that you can measure. And I'm pretty sure it's the most important health statistic that there is. Like, did you ever wake up in the morning and go, I don't know how I feel today? You're like, I don't know. Should I do a thing or should I refrain? Is my soul shattered or just my pocketbook? Anyway, there's a super brilliant thing that you too can use. I think you do need a Garmin. You need a chest strap and a Garmin head unit. But if you got one of those, you just take this thing here. Now check this out. There's a feature right in here. You go to the main screen. This is my on foot profile because I haven't been riding a bike outside, so I'm only using the indoor and the on foot profiles. But I digress. So I'm wearing my heart rate monitor. You saw it just connect the strap, and I'm gonna like show you my heart this morning, sort of. But check this out. There's a feature in here in the menu somewhere, my stats, called stress score, right? So there's my stats that you're not allowed to know. I mean, those aren't even right now because they haven't been measured properly in ages, but since summertime. But so this stress score thing is extremely interesting. So what this does is, this is not to be confused with your heart rate variability. And I'm not going to measure this while I'm on the live stream because you're supposed to stand still and relax. So what you do anyway, you go to this setting. Again, it's in settings, my stats, under stress score. And what it is it's your heart rate variability stress score. So a lot of people measure their heart rate variability, which is fantastic. However, that's not your heart rate variability stress score. The stress score is a different thing that determines how stressed you are by coming up with that number using a mathematical calculation based on your resting heart rate and your heart rate variability. So what you do is, first thing in the morning, you put on your chest strap and then you stand still. When you're as rested as possible, your heart rate is as low as possible, you stand still for 3 minutes and you just try to keep your heart rate as low as possible or whatever. You just stand there and relax for 3 minutes. And then it's going to give you a score from 1 to 99. And that's your heart rate variability stress score. And I'm pretty sure that is the single best measure of the autonomic nervous system stress, which is crucial because when you are in hard training cycles and you're in, doing a series of inhuman things, when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you feel all messed up and sometimes you aren't messed up, but sometimes you are. And it's nice to know if you are like ready to like compete at the elite level or if you're ready to go back to bed because you're not recovered. You know what I mean? It'll tell you when you're getting sick and stuff, folks, because your heart rate variability stress score, again, it's based on resting heart rate and your heart rate variability score. So, heart rate variability is measured in milliseconds. It's how fast your heart rate changes. Heart rate variability stress score is a different thing. So, I mean, it's almost impossible for me to impart this to people. Like typically when I tell somebody about this, they're like, my heart rate variability is this, or I don't follow my heart rate variability. It's like, okay, I'm not talking about heart rate variability. I'm talking about heart rate variability stress score. But that's how it is because people's attention span is 2 seconds. It's 2 seconds. It's out of control. Let me get to these comments here. I see comments. Blind fighting. Yeah, blind fighting. It's a real thing and it's not funny in any way. But ha ha ha. Just hope the don't pack heat. Why would you not pack heat? I mean, definitely bring a gun to every knife fight. You know? People say don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Why not? Make sure you bring a gun to a knife fight, too. That's the most important thing. Why is that not the wise words, right? Always bring a gun to a knife fight. Seems simple to understand. What about this one? There's no hill worth dying on. What about that one? Is that some words of wisdom for you there? Wait, why is releasing too many secrets unwise? Why is releasing too many secrets unwise? Is that a serious question? That can't be a serious question. 12 Speed is my book on Amazon Books. SF. Okay. Thanks, Gibraltar Skies. 12 Speed is my book on Amazon Books. What are you, a Shimano rep or something? Why would you say 12 Speed is my book? Does that mean you authored a book called 12 Speed? I'm trying to figure this out. I want to know now. 12 Speed is my... Can anybody look on Amazon Books and see if some jabroni called Gibraltar Skies is a Shimano rep? Just kidding, Gibraltar Skies. If you authored a book, great job. Congratulations, especially if it's good. If it sucks, well, yeah, I don't know. Down every rabbit hole is a black rock with a white van guarding it. I see what you did there. That's funny because you said black rock. People are scared of black rock, so ha 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 ha. They own all the properties everywhere or something. Anyway, yeah, that heart rate variability stress score, that is that should be the gold standard, folks. I don't know of anything better. I heard that a Wahoo, it just has like 1, 2, or 3 or something for that. But this thing, I tested it extensively for a number of months last year, and yeah, that HRV stress score feature on the Garmin's, that might be a game changer for people. And here's why. So if you are like planning to do like a hard training endurance event, like a triathlon or a bike race, running race, hard training day, group ride that's really long and hard, you might wake up in the morning and be like, I don't know how I feel right now. I'm not sure if I feel great. And, because people have aches and pains even when they're 12 years old, right? It's like, you like stub your toe and that literally raises your entire like body inflammation. Like everything is all of the different systems all matter and overlap. So, so yeah, if you wake up in the morning and you measure your HRV stress score and it's 3 of 99, 3 of 100, you can rest assured that it's pretty well established that you're probably not super stressed. And and one other thing. On actual days of competition, like especially like really hard competitions, like if you're planning a whole season around one event or something like that, ignore the HRV stress score the morning of the event, because you're going to be stressed, and you're supposed to be stressed. The event is the ultimate stress, so there's that. Ignore it if it's like race day, because you're going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? If it's a thing that you're going to do regardless, then you have to ignore the stress score, right? But don't let it like get into your head on race day, because you're going to be stressed on race day, because it's stressful. It's dangerous. Yeah. So, but that HRV stress score, that I'm pretty sure that is the best easy measurement that anybody can easily do with, it's, you have to have a chest strap heart rate monitor. All right. You have to have some way that you're able to really accurately measure your heart rate. Like, I don't think a ring or a wristband is going to work. You got to have a chest strap heart rate monitor. And it's because it has to look at the conductivity of your skin, over your AV node on the left side for most people, and over on the right side. And you have to get a very precise measurement, because for heart rate variability, it is in milliseconds. And a wristband or a ring does not have the temporal resolution to handle millisecond measurements. So you have... Fairy Godmother's dog asks, is it analog or digital? It's digital. And do I have one? Yeah, I have one. It's a computer doing a measurement, so it's innately digital. And I'm wearing one right now. In fact, I wonder what my heart rate is. I'll bet it's like 90. I think my heart rate's like 90. So I'm guessing right now. And I'm going to show you. I'm not going to measure my heart rate variability stress score. Maybe I will. I'm just going to measure my heart rate variability stress score while I'm doing the live stream. So here you go. It's going to show really high stress because, what? Oh, there we go. I wasn't close enough to the Garmin for long enough. So, all right. So there we go. Now now I'm going to measure it while I'm doing the stream, and I'll show you the score then. But the last score was 96, and it's because I was overtrained and I was stressed about various things. So anyway, here we're going to measure it. Here we go. There we go. 91 is my heart rate. See? Almost exactly right. I'm pretty good at guessing this stuff, having been a living billboard pro cyclist since 1999. Anyway, that's how you measure it. You just stand and relax. And of course, I'm not going to be relaxed because I'm doing a stream. And the reason that your heart rate variability shows your stress levels is because your heart rate has like an inertial feature to it. And what I mean by that is your heart rate, when you're extremely fit, it varies based on... I should have a thing on the screen. Your heart rate varies based on, how much output you're doing, right? If you're like walking fast, and you have a much higher heart rate, than if you're walking slowly and so on. That's not good. I don't like it. Let's try again. Anyway, obviously, if you're like running full speed, you max out your heart rate, right? Like, you want to find out what your max heart rate is. You run up a hill at maximum speed. Well, your heart rate variability, it's telling you how fast your heart decides to change beats. All right, so like if you like when you start sprinting, right? How fast your heart rate suddenly comes up to maximum heart rate. That's a low amount of time for your heart rate to move a lot. and also that's going to be consistent with how fast your heart rate comes back down. So when you're stressed, what happens is, like, if you do a hard endurance, like do a hard 3 hour bike ride or something, uh, while you're not feeling well, what'll happen is it'll take longer for your heart rate to come down after every effort too. So not only will every effort be like feel more difficult because you're stressed, but the recovery time between when your heart rate, goes to zone 4 or 5 or whatever, back to zone 2, or zone 2 or zone 3 or wherever you're riding in normally. So a high heart rate variability score, the raw heart rate variability, means that your heart takes a long time to change your heart rate, and that's an indication of stress or just general bad health. Whereas if your heart just wants if your heart's okay jumping around to different beats, it can drop down to 60 and then back to 150 and then back to 80 and then back to 150 and then back to 120. Like, that's what you want it to do. You want it to rapidly change your heart rate based on your output. And the more stressed you are, the less it wants to do that. It has like inertia. So, it wants to beat at a certain rate. And you'll find when you're overtrained, you can't max out. So this is what happens, right? You're like, oh, my max heart rate is, let's say your max heart rate is 187 beats per minute. Mine used to be right around there. And sometimes I would do a whole race where almost the entire race is at that heart rate. But I digress. What happens is when it comes up to max, you want it to come back down when you stop doing the maximum thing. And of course, many cold and flu remedies will mess with your heart rate big time. So especially if you take Sudafed. Sudafed is the harshest on me. Sudafed or ephedrine, anything like that. It increases your adrenaline production. It makes you put out more adrenaline, like when you're not doing anything. So that's part of the reason why. That's part of the reason why. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the chat. Is it different than what? But it's a dumb computer. That's not a Christmas decoration. The hell are you talking about, dude? That's just an indoor shiny tree. That's all the Christmas lights are down. We still have lights that look like Christmas lights in the bedroom, and there are some lights in the living room there, but that's just there because that's the front window, and when the sun shines in there, it's just awesome. How did your measurement? Man, oh man, look at these comments. All right, let me try to answer any of these. let me attempt to answer any of these comments. Well, thank you. I explained it well. Cheers. How did your Fairy Godmother's dog says, how did your measurement tools earn your trust? Really? What do you think? You think I don't believe my heart rate monitor? Is that what you're saying? It's because it's consistent with what I would expect based on how I feel. So like when I'm maxed out, I feel maxed out, and it says a number for my heart rate. How did it earn my trust? I don't have to earn a thing that's just doing a measurement. Like, how much trust do I got to have in a thing that just measures a thing? Zero. It's just measuring a thing. It doesn't need to be trusted or not trusted. Trust has nothing to do with my heart rate monitor. Anyway, my HRV stress score is 94. Yeah, 94. Isn't that fun? Now, of course, it's probably not a good measurement because I was like talking and streaming during it, but that's a super high stress score. And like, that's a reason, like, if I was going to do a hard bike ride today, if that was a good score, I would not do a hard bike ride because that's really high. And and look, the HRV stress score can prevent you from getting sick or like prevent you from getting sicker because if you do all kinds of extremely taxing physical tasks when you ought to be resting, your immune system is the first thing that goes because you have to be able to fight a tiger or something, right? Like your like ability to like do a physical task is more important than your immune system because of obvious evolutionary forces. Anyway, yeah, that's not a Christmas decoration, dude. That's just a sun catcher. That's just a very big, elaborate sun catcher. And and over there, that's my Festivus pole. So Festivus pole, there is a Moravian star on it. I mean, sometimes that's a Christmas decoration, but when it's not Christmas, then it's just a light. It's just a light, and it's a really cool light that I keep on my Festivus pole on purpose. So I know YouTube audiences love to give advice about interior decor, and we always take it under advisement. However, the lighting solutions in my living room are not really open to debate. There, it is a extremely tightly controlled environment, complete with man-made cloud. So yeah, it's you might have it a different way, and if everybody did shit the same way, Earth would be really boring. But it's a dumb computer, right? Like it doesn't interpret it. Correct. It's machine learning. It's a dumb computer that does not interpret anything. It just says if the probability of this is the highest, then that's the next word. That's all an LLM does. It says if else, if else, if else, if else, and then it calls it a sentence. I wonder if it goes up when you're live. Yes, it goes up when I'm live because I'm talking and I'm like on camera. There are all kinds of reasons to be stressed when you're live streaming. So yes, it definitely goes up. But hey, at least it's lower than it was last time. The last time I measured it, it was 99. So it's actually down to 94 while I streamed. So to me, it doesn't look that bad. But look, not everybody's not everybody's a hardcore athlete out there. So don't take my word on it. Test it out on yourself. You're a living laboratory, okay? Everybody is. And if you don't get in the lab, you're not going to get any results. That's all there is to it. That seems fast. I don't know what that means. Has been developed by the science labs of NASA. I don't know why. As long as it's not NASA. As long as it's NASA and not SpaceX. Yeah. Yeah, really. Well, people get NASA and SpaceX confused a lot. And there is a massive, 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 massive difference between NASA and SpaceX because NASA does lots and lots and lots and lots of science, and SpaceX does exactly zero science. So that's a big difference. Just because NASA sends stuff to space doesn't make them the same thing as SpaceX in any way. SpaceX is a private spaceflight company. NASA is a government agency, the National Aeronautics and Space Agency, and it does tons of science. SpaceX does zero science besides like the engineer of engines and things. So these are not like NASA and SpaceX are worlds apart. And by the way, SpaceX is looking more and more like a scam as time goes on. They're going to build a moon base starting this year. Is that what I heard? There's going to be a moon base and a thriving, self-sustaining moon city we're going to start construction this year in 2026. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. What the hell is Musk talking about? What an absolute weirdo. I mean, my God, fraud just oozes from his pores. Nobody believes shit that he says anymore. Like, why do people keep throwing money at that giant turd? Like, god damn, there are too many muskrats in this world. Too many muskrats. He takes his riding Uber seriously. Let me tell you the difference between an elite cyclist and a club noob. Here's the difference between a rando at the cycling club and a bike racer. Bike racers take vacations from bike riding. Club rando noobs take vacations to go bike riding. You see the difference? See the difference? I take a vacation from cycling, not to go cycling. A cycling can't be the vacation because it's it's been an ongoing vocation for quite a while. Uh, my God. She says, is that different than pulse? You spelled then wrong. It's THAN, but I digress. Yes, it's different than pulse. Heart rate variability. Heart rate and pulse are the same thing. So heart rate's not different than pulse. But heart rate variability is how rapidly your heart changes your pulse. And heart rate variability stress score is your heart rate variability along with your resting heart rate. Those are the two variables that determine heart rate variability stress score: your resting heart rate and your heart rate variability. So again, don't get the heart rate variability and the heart rate variability stress score mixed up. If you have a really low resting heart rate, you'll find you have a really low heart rate variability stress score, typically, unless you have a bad heart rate variability in the first place. Like if you have congestive heart failure, you'll always have a terrible HRV stress score because you'll always have a really high HRV, no matter how low your resting heart rate gets. So there's that. I imagine that is incorporated into it. Muscle tension, lactose, flow, inflammation, muscle damage, that kind of stuff. Exactly, exactly. And yes, inflammation is a function of all those things that you've mentioned. And also lactate buildup and illnesses. Okay, if you have a virus, if you have a fungus, if you have a bacteria, that's all going to raise the overall stress of your autonomic nervous system. It'll probably raise your blood pressure a little bit. Um, the way thinking about the economy is going to raise your blood pressure a little bit. What about Claritin? I don't know anything about Claritin at all. I have no idea what it does or what the molecule is. So I have no comment whatsoever on Claritin. I would never endorse a thing. I only mentioned the two drugs that I mentioned because they both affect your heart rate and your blood pressure and your heart rate variability. So yeah, that's not a Christmas tree. I mean, it becomes a Christmas tree at Christmas time, and it gets Christmas lights on it. But now it's a sun catcher, and it's freaking amazing, yo. The sun shines in that front window, and it lights this whole room up with amazing shininess. It's freaking awesome. It totally rocks. And when I turn the fan on, this thing will spin for a couple of hours. And then when I turn the fan back off, it will spin for another couple hours in the opposite direction. Courtesy of Spider Wire Fishing Line. Yeah, it's just cheesily attached to that register there, and it works great. It's fantastic. It's so good. And I mean, I have other cool lights in here too. Like, I guess I should be running them because I've invited the world into my living room for once. So, what do we have? Here we go. There's some more stuff. I don't know, that one's a little bit too busy, right? There's one that's a nice fade. That's pretty good. All right, there you go. There's some more bugged out lighting for you, YouTube crew. I know it's super popular for content creators to have bugged out lighting in the background. So there you go. there's the there's the official bugged out lighting of the Smash News Network. Least busted name of news, complete with your man-made cloud of death. Oh no, look out, it's full of barium and strontium, folks. Oh no, it's an aluminum cloud, and it must be electric too. Dear God, oh my gosh, it's an electric freaking cloud, folks. Stop the presses. Call Dane Wigington. Call Dane Wigington, folks. Oh God. How many people are mad at a cloud right now? Like, think about that. There are like probably thousands of people standing outside going, "Goddamn clouds. I know that's a man-made cloud. It's from that 5G tower out over there. Every day a cloud forms because of that 5G tower." And HAARP, located in Fairbanks, Alaska, people think HAARP controls their weather. It's amazing. Are you thousands of miles from Fairbanks, Alaska, like practically everybody on Earth? Well, guess what? Even if you're in Fairbanks, Alaska, HAARP isn't controlling your weather. Ever. Even when it's running, which it hasn't been since November. So there's that. Yeah. All right, now let's see. Well, trusting those monitoring your heart goes both ways. I don't know what the hell that means. If that's supposed to sound like profound. Okay. If you say so. If you say so. Fairy godmother's dog. Like some people are so paranoid about machines and computers, and right now, your machine is simple. How weird is that question in a land of AI-attached heart monitors? I don't know what the hell that means, but my heart rate monitor is not AI in any way. I mean, the software on my Garmin uses AI to like calculate what my fitness levels are and things like that. But the chest strap isn't AI in any way. It's measuring conductivity between the left and right sides of my chest for respiration and to measure my heart rate. Because when your heart beats, there's a measurable change in the voltage on the surface of your skin. So over your heart, especially by your AV node, there's a measurable change in the voltage, like in millivolts. That's not AI. In fact, large language models aren't AI either. I think I was just was over that. But look, I'm not surprised. Like I said, the attention span of humans has devolved to about 0.5 seconds. Show the sun catcher. I swear it looks like a tree. Do you know how a sun catcher works? Sun shines through that window, and then this catches it, and it redirects the sunlight. Oh man, maybe you ought to get some sleep there, gal. Doesn't the moon precisely balance our tides? No, it doesn't precisely balance our tides. The tides vary a lot, and the moon's position varies a lot. So And the sun affects the tides too. The moon doesn't quite, quote, precisely balance our tides. Tides vary, and the weather changes the tides also. That's why a hurricane storm surge high tide is a really, really high tide. Mining space dust, the new cocaine, lol. Yeah, maybe Elon will find some special K up on the moon, and that'll be how the moon base will sustain itself. It'll be a special K mining colony. I'm sure that'll work great. I'm sure the people that go there won't be utter moron Elon cultists. Know nothing Elon cultists. They are the worst. They're like, bro, I know all about things that I clearly know nothing about based on my tweets, bro. Bro, crypto bro, and Elon bro. Bro. If I say bro enough times, you'll believe me. All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. If you remove mass from the moon, it could slightly change our wobble or orbit. It seems like a delicate piece of hardware for Earth. You'd have to change its mass a lot, Gemma, because you see, space is changing Earth and Moon's mass a lot as well. There's space dust constantly hitting the Moon and the Earth, and they're both gaining weight all the time. The thing is that it's at a similar ratio. Plus, we can't move sufficient mass of the moon to significantly affect its mass. So, from a moon-wide perspective, there's no amount of regolith that we could bring back to Earth, which we wouldn't do because it would be pointless. But there's no amount that we could bring back with current technology that would affect the moon's overall mass. Plus, you're adding the mass to the Earth system. And technically, the moon and Earth orbit the same point of gravity anyway. So it's a little more complicated than a delicate piece of hardware. The moon's not that delicate. The moon's an important piece of hardware, but it's not that delicate. It's taken quite a few meteor strikes. Can you speak on gang stalking and why they target chosen ones and how it's biblical? So gang stalking is for all kinds of reasons. It depends on the gang. So the gangs are going to stalk whoever the gangs feel like stalking, generally speaking. But the good news is that most things are self-controlled. So don't worry, a bigger gang will show up and it'll probably kick them in the face. And then you'll have a different warlord. I mean, this is how anarchy works, folks. This is how anarchy works. Anyway, welcome to our American viewers. If you've gotten up at 4 a.m. to watch this, what the hell is wrong with you? But in any case, welcome to the plutocratic corporatocracy. It's been a wonderful run, and but it's led to the same place. Why does it always lead to the same place, folks? Those doggone plutocratic corporatocracies. They are, you can almost predict what they'll do. Man, I feel like Rasputin sometimes, or maybe Nostradamus, just telling the future. It's so easy to do. I mean, I could practically tell you what the next Troth Social tweet is going to have. The next tweet by Tronald Dump and Milan Usk. Milan Usk is, I think that's going to be my new favorite dude. That Milan Usk. Wait, what's his name? Milan Usk. Milan Usk. That guy I think he's from Milan, Italy or something. Milan Usk. I heart him. He's just looking out for the little guy, folks. He wants to extend humans' consciousness into space. It's totally not for self-aggrandizement. No. That Milan Usk guy, Milan Usk, he's looking out for you, bro. I mean, he wants to see your Bitcoin worth $1 quadrillion per Bitcoin. That's what he wants. That's what he wants for you in his bright, bright world. His bright, bright world that has magical resources that are made of magical magic. That's what he wants for you, folks. So thank God. Thank God for Chef Boyardee and Milan Usk. Milan Usk and that Tronald Dump guy, those two guys together, they're already creating an AI utopia. I mean, I think eventually Scam Altman is going to be able to like convince enough people that there's intelligence in the AI. But I doubt it, because there's no intelligence in the AI, and large language models don't even have anything resembling the capacity of intelligence, because they're machine learning. I think I said that before in this stream, but I just like to bring it up because, well, we're coming back to the title, aren't we? And the title is, The Economy is Not the Stock Market. Or is that the description? I guess that's the description. All these newfangled YouTube terms, I have trouble learning what they mean, folks. You know, I'm practically a boomer. I'm just kidding. I'm practically a millennial, actually. But in any case, the economy is in for some problems, and it has to do with the lending. So it's not just the fraud of AI not being intelligent in any way. It's the problem with all of the promises that are already priced into the market, you see. So as we cross over the 1 hour mark, I'm going to step outside barefoot. It's about 10 degrees out right now. It's about 10 degrees out. And that made my feet numb instantaneously. But so there's a lot of stuff that's priced into the market, folks, that isn't real. There's a lot of stuff that's not real that is definitely priced into the market. And that's what causes bubbles. That is the bubble. That literally is the bubble. So, I mean, a lot of people have been calling it a bubble for a long time. And not every bubble is as obvious as a bubble. Some of them, a lot of bubbles, we can't sort of see them. It's unfortunate when that happens, you know, because sometimes we don't see the bubbles until after they burst. And that sucks when that happens. Fortunately for you and anybody else who's able to understand the basic discernment of logic and why gold prices went to $5,500 an ounce and why silver prices went over $120 an ounce, it's because the economy is far from good. There has been bad fiscal policy in the U.S. for over 2 decades. And I've been watching it, and it's pretty disturbing, frankly. I mean, as if the Patriot Act isn't bad enough, you got to temper that with some smart economic policy from time to time. But I mean, since Alan Greenspan, look, Alan Greenspan did the bidding of the Fed. But since Alan Greenspan, there hasn't even been a Fed chair who could talk coherently about monetary policy or what's going on in the economy. I mean, it's been bad. It's been bad. And the Patriot Act was sort of I'm not going to call it the final nail in the coffin, but the Patriot Act was certainly another nail in the coffin. So, yeah, I mean, things have just declined and declined and declined. And hopefully you're not a metaphor of all that declining, because There certainly has been plenty of it. Uh, I mean, like I was talking about earlier, why is everybody that I deal with at every business able to do 5% of their own job? Like, what the hell is that? I mean, I had an insurance company spend weeks, weeks trying to like get a payment to go through. Like, like what? They finally get to the point where they're able to take my money to pay my premium so my insurance doesn't get canceled. And I'm supposed to fucking celebrate at that point? What the fuck is that? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, the level of incompetence of anybody being able to do their job. Like, look at the files. Look at the files, folks. You know, the Herpstein files. You know, that Herpstein, what's his name? Herpstein. Those files. Everybody was like, release the files, release the files. And then they found their cult leaders peppered all over the files. And then they said, ignore the files as I dance around the Bill Gates. Oh, but we all hate Bill Gates, right, bro? Bro. The solution is buy crypto, bro. Elon Elon Musk was begging to go to the island, but he refused. They were trying to get him to go, but he wasn't begging to go. No, no. They want the files released until they're released and contain information they don't like. And now it's fake news, bro. Fake news. Bro, buy crypto, bro. Just, bro, buy crypto, bro. Crypto's really low, bro. So, bro, buy the bro. Crypto, bro. It's really low, bro. Bro, buy low, bro. Bro, sell, bro, high, bro. Dear bro, AI, bro. There's no I in the AI, bro. Bro, bro, I, bro. Their bro is bro. No bro, I, bro. In bro, the AI, bro. That's bro, the problem, bro, with the bro, AI, bro. Don't lick the moon. I could lick this cloud. Yes, they out here eating human meat, says 737 SDS. I hope not. However, if you are seeing the crime of cannibalism, please contact local law enforcement or other people who can deal with that situation. Especially ones who aren't me, because I'm trying to brew coffee and I don't have shoes on. I'm wearing a bathrobe, a hat, and a heart rate monitor, and that's it. So my deployability as emergency personnel is really low, and my willpower is about the same. Did you see that, folks? That was amazing, right? It was like, was that a turn on for you? That was a turn on for me. Like, that was amazing. That the plant lights just came on there, like mid-sentence. I loved that. That was so good. I guess I'll turn off the man-made cloud, because watch this, folks. This is weather modification at its finest. Close sesame, electric cloud. How you like that? Yeah, it's a voice-controlled cloud. I have it plugged into the clapper. I'm just kidding, folks. It's not plugged into the clapper. Oh, man. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh, how Scam Altman is going to create an AI utopia. Yeah, so the reason that the rest of the economy is affected by the AI is because all kinds of lending institutions and all kinds of companies have invested in each other. There are people on the boards of various companies at the same time. And it's all interrelated, folks. That's literally what the whole economy is. A bunch of interrelated stuff. And as a result of that, the AI bubble is an AI bubble that is a bigger bubble than the NASDAQ bubble of 1999. So that bubble did not feature valuations of the world's largest company at 400 times earnings. Yeah, Tesla. Tesla is currently trading at 400 times earnings. Okay? A few months ago, Warren Buffett, before leaving Berkshire Hathaway and retiring, sidelined $343 billion. He sidelined, am I showing too much chest? He sidelined $343 billion. Why did he do that? The reason he did it is because he recognized that the market is a massive, massive bubble. And so he wanted Berkshire Hathaway's cash to be sidelined so that when the bubble bursts, Berkshire Hathaway can pick up the ashes, the tiny, tiny embers of ashes that are going to be left after all of the fraud gets exposed and all of the money pulls out of the projects that are never going to happen. Warren Buffett knew, and he still knows, that those projects are never going to happen. People tell him things. He goes to dinner parties. He has friends. He probably still uses America Online to connect to the internet. He has Medicare and stuff. Warren Buffett knows what the hell he's talking about. And so people tell him stuff. And he has been probably one of the world's most competent value investors. So he's sort of the opposite of a tech bro. He wants long positions. He wants long positions, bro. So bro, if you don't like Berkshire Hathaway, bro, the easiest thing to do, bro, would be to simply, have some Berkshire Hathaway shares to go along with your shitcoin and your Tesla fraud scam bonds, your fraud scam share bonds. Like, you should probably get some Berkshire Hathaway. Like, that's the best move for all the bros who don't know anything about investing. Just like listen to Warren Buffett and you'll you'll have hedged your broness with your stupid tech investments. But see, the problem with here's the problem with the Elon bros investing style. If you're invested in just Bitcoin and Tesla, you're supposed to have a thing that goes down when the other thing goes up. You see, if you have two things, you want them to be inversely proportional to each other. So, if you invest in the dollar, then you invest in gold to hedge the dollar. If you invest in low tide companies that are involved in clamming, right? You should also invest in high tide companies that are involved in the marina. I don't know. You get the idea. Like, you want the one thing to go down while the other thing goes up. That way you move your capital from one to the other. Now keep in mind, folks, this is not investment advice. I'm just talking about how you buy low and sell high. I mean, so this is for novelty purposes only. Of course, I do have a resume. I learned how to day trade in the year 2000. Well, I guess 1990. I guess I started in 1999 technically. Probably by like December. By December 99, that was when I took up the The interesting vocation of day and swing trading. Day and swing trading. I don't recommend it. It's not a it's not a fun career path. But if you've got private funds and you're missing a season of bike racing because you got hit by a truck, then it might be a great idea. No? That's a rhetorical question, folks. All right, so let me see here. What do we have? What do we have here? We've got more comments that I haven't gotten to yet, so let me address those if they're addressable. I'm pouring some of the extremely strong black coffee. And it's dark. It's dark, folks. Dark. Yeah, so wherever they're eating human meat, please contact local law enforcement and so that they can put an end to that. Because, and here's why, folks. Now, this is YouTube, so I always like to explain stuff because sometimes people don't understand things. You know, different cultures and so on. So, cannibalism, people don't generally like cannibalism. And it's because maybe I look tasty. Probably not because I look like a Jules. But in any case, like, people aren't big fans of cannibalism. It's like, what's the right word? Frowned upon? Oh, cannibalism. The tweet is whatever triggers a reaction in a designated direction. Pretty much. Fairy Godmother says magical magic. That's the best kind. The best. That's my favorite. My favorite kind is that magical magic. That unmagical magic. Or that magical non-magic. Magical non-magic is a real bitch, right? Magical, which is more annoying? Magical non-magic or non-magical magic? Huh? They are different. They are different. Think about it. Does your brain hurt yet? It's freaking not even 5 a.m. And Smash Staff is going to shower and then hit me with a pipe. Just kidding. I don't think I woke her up. Wit and two thanks. Thank you. Sugars. He said sugars for some reason. I don't know what that means. Practically Gen X, bro. Cheers. Happens months before with the information. Labubu was a clear sign of bubble spending. I don't know what that means. Well, this is what happens when you start streaming at like 3 a.m., folks. You get comments like this, and I don't blame you. I would type a comment like that. Labubu was a clear sign of bubble spending. Good to know. It almost makes you want to exit. You know, that's actually a radioactive sign. Did you know that, folks? Check this out. I'm going to turn the light off. You see how that sign glows? Hold on. Where is it? There. You see that? See that green glow? That green glow right there? That is radioactive tritium. I have a legit tritium exit sign that you would like put in a nuclear power plant. I have one of those. And there it is. In your face. Yeah, I got radioactive material in my kitchen. How you like them apples? Not too much. There's a Nuclear Regulatory Commission sticker on the back of that. Cheers. They're supposed to only last for like, I think they're rated for 15 years. And I got mine in 2008 or something, all dusty in a warehouse. Somebody told me to throw it in the dumpster. Somebody told me to release a radioactive tritium including exit sign into the dumpster. There are vials of tritium inside there. Like, I kid you not. Yeah. The the dude, I won't say who or what company it was, but the dude said, "Throw those away." And I'm like, "But this one isn't this one has tritium inside of it. If I throw it away, the vials will break." I don't care. I'm like, "Okay, I'll throw it away, all right." So I threw it in my trunk. Gold eating vampires, man. There are no gold eating vampires. Next. SV Thora Sailing says self insure, and yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, self insure, buy a yacht, uh, you know, but have a Spanish galleon sail up full of gold doubloons from the 15th century. Yeah, sure. Yeah, just self insure, bro. The Epileptic Files. Uh, oh, is that because of my lighting? I apologize. Gold being the standard only makes sense if gold is most useful, and it seems rather silly in general. But if you make all the gold into technology, eventually you need to find more. That's true. That's true. But I don't think we're going to make all the gold into technology. I don't think that's necessary. Ah, yes. Yeah, coffee is the sweet elixir of non death. The sweet elixir of non death. Not to be confused with life, because what's that? I mean, that seems like that seems fun. I mean, life. Ha! That's adorable. People are like, "I'm living." Are you? Are you really? Are you completely trapped and red rummed? Are you ready to snap? Like, I know I certainly am. I'm about ready to start putting heads on spikes. Heads on spikes, I tell you. Like, I've got one right here. I know there's one right here somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? If I don't find it, it's a beating. Where is it? Here's one. That's good enough. There you go. Heads on spikes. There's a spike for you. So, bring me the heads of those who deserve to be on the spikes, and I'll display them in the front yard behind the snowbank. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Life goals, become the local version of Vlad the Impaler. Seems like it would be a fun, you know, finish out winter the right way. Put some heads on spikes in the front yard. What do you think? What do you think? Let us know in the comments what you think. He says, Dirk says, exactly. He's been buying Google. I don't know what that means. 100%, and I don't know what that means. Chasing Elon is like man-loving tape. It's a generational thing. Young folks don't do a technical analysis. I mean, some of them do. Some of them do. Like, I mean, only half of any population is going to be a cultist. I mean, you know what I mean? You're never going to get more than half of any population being a cultist. Right? So, I mean, the features of a cult are living leader, believes nonsense, is harmful. Simple, right? Um, you're never going to get more than half of a population with that, because the believes nonsense is the big hurdle. Like, you can have a living leader that everybody verifies is a legit leader, uh, but the believes nonsense. I mean, practically every leader can be painted as harmful, depending on who you're looking at, right? So they're going to harm one group and help another group in any scenario. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, the Elon fanboy sycophancy is very much like the Andrew Tate fanboy sycophancy. They're just parroting a bunch of things that they don't understand because some guy that they think is rich, some guy who is rich says a thing confidently, and then they just believe it, no matter how nonsensical and ridiculous it is. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Swing trading is suicidal, but that's what happens when you're a day trader who isn't as sociopathic as a day trader. You know, it's like, do you want to be a sociopath or or a masochist? You can. I mean, ultimately, like, dude, like long positions are better than short ones, right? So, um, like, what's better? What's better? Take your capital and just put it in a thing and let it sit there for years and years, or take your capital and move it around every 14 seconds based on market conditions. Like, if you don't have a good finger on the pulse of what those market conditions are, you will definitely fail at that second thing. The first thing, you might do very well at the first thing without a whole lot of trouble. But I mean, look, anybody, if you only have individual stocks, you're freaking crazy to begin with. So, I mean, like, it's complicated. It's complicated. Like, most people stick with mutual funds, and even there, like, listen, Peter Schiff isn't wrong. What Peter Schiff is currently saying, like, invest in emerging markets right now, that's the move. That's the move, because the US economy is it's in this mode that it's in now because of centralized control. Centralized control is fucking up the economy. I mean, tariffs are a direct tax on you folks. Like, how, I don't understand how Americans don't get this. Tariffs are a tax on you. When a tariff is applied to a thing, the price goes up and you pay for it. According to some studies, you pay 96 cents on the dollar for it. So, I mean, and US businesses pay the other part. So, like, tariffs reduce productivity for everybody because they make everything more expensive and they cost more jobs than they create. If all of a sudden there's a shortage of a thing, do you think a factory just appears, materializes out of nowhere? Poof! We can't get a thing. So what? You think it's just magically manufactured in the US? The United States does not need to bring manufacturing. We're a service economy. We don't need to bring manufacturing back. That is nonsense. Third world nations who are putting in electric grids and becoming first world nations, those are where the factories belong. Because there's a progression from a society, from a technological, from a fourth world nation to a first world nation, right? There are people out there who have no plumbing, no electricity, and dirt floors. Like, factories belong adjacent to those places because what's going to happen is they're going to have electricity and plumbing and floors and solar panels and Starlink connections and whatever other good things they ought to have, like a smartphone, which they can get for 20, 30, 40 bucks, right? And have access to practically all of the information ever known to all of mankind. It's kind of important. That is where factories belong. We can send the equipment and the electricity and everything so that they can do the whole industrial revolution in their town and create their own little version of modern society. This is the way things actually progress in the real world. In the real world, not we bring manufacturing back to the U.S., a consumer-driven service economy. Who wants to work in a factory in the U.S.? Like, tell us in the comments. You want to work in a factory in the U.S.? You want to do an ultra repetitive job forever? Like you want to like solder 1,000 thermocouples on an air conditioner all day? Really? I mean, come on, it's insane. Sorry. Reacting to your comments as you say them. Oh, yeah, I know. I'm really far behind in the comments. I apologize. Tariffs are a hidden form of hyperinflation. See, I would disagree with that. I would disagree. Um, and that's not a rolling pin, it's a wooden spoon. But tariffs are a hidden form of hyperinflation. That's not true. Tariffs are an obvious form of hyperinflation because Trump wants to take credit for the tariffs. Trump wants the tariffs to be a big, crazy win for the U.S. because factories are going to materialize out of thin air because you can't get a thing. By the way, the tariffs affected me within 4 days of going into effect last year. Within 4 days, the tariffs hurt my bottom line personally. I already couldn't buy things that I wanted to buy in early April last year. And I don't have to prove it. Like there's a whole series of events that would not have happened because it involved cycling jerseys. So yeah, I've got an instant personal story about it. And it also caused all kinds of shortages with all kinds of bike parts. So yeah, there's that. Like you think a Shimano factory to build Shimano bike parts is just gonna just appear in the US because tariffs? This appears in the US because of tariffs. It's the like why is it that nobody can think things through to their logical conclusion? Like is this some kind of a disease or something? It seems like it's a pandemic. People can't think like I'm at the point where if I'm going to survive the next 5 minutes, I'm happy. Because like when your 10-year plan devolves to a 5-year plan, devolves to a 2-year plan, devolves to a 5-minute plan, you're like, okay, this is fine. You know that meme where there's like a puppy dog who's like sitting in a room and it's all on fire? And he's like, this is fine. That's what like half of America is doing right now. Half of America is like, this is actually really good. Look how good the economy is. The stock market's booming. You know, I remember when I was like 20, or when I was like 17 actually, a number of times the economy has gone through boom and bust cycles, as I'm pretty ancient. But I digress. Several times it happened before I understood the economy. And, you know, the first time I distinctly remember, I think it was like in high school, maybe junior high. And I remember going, wow, that's weird. The economy is all f***ed up, even though the stock market's high? I'm like, isn't the economy the stock market? If the Dow is reaching record highs, how could the economy be all f***ed up? And I didn't understand a lot of things like monetary policy, inflation, commodities, currency, geopolitics. I didn't know how any of that stuff figured into the economy. I'm just like, but stocks are high. Shouldn't it mean that it's good? Yeah, you can have a hyper-inflated stock market with a massive bubble and have a shattered economy. And the ultra wealthy who own most of the stock, they can be completely out of touch with reality. So I mean that is definitely a thing that can occur. And what can't occur is beyond PG-13 rated videos on our YouTube channel. They won't ever let people have all the information. If all of mankind, the fact accidentally allowed to gate VO access is astonishing. I don't know what the hell that means, but you basically have access to more or less all of the information ever known to mankind. Damn close to everything anybody's ever known, you have access to. You can take all of MIT's courses for free. I mean, what do you want to know? You can probably find out. Fairy godmother's dog doesn't want to smell a factory. Yeah, nobody wants to smell a factory. And here's the good news. In the modern world, when we build a factory nowadays, they're less ecologically detrimental, right? Like a modern factory, it's going to get built downwind from the city, downstream from the fishing and rafting spots. I mean, it's like we put them in places where they're sort of not so much of an eyesore when you drive through the town. You don't see the landfill. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty easy to plan this stuff nowadays. We have things like satellites and and GPS and advanced weather forecasting. We can forecast the weather out like a week in most places in the world. Maybe not in the mid-Atlantic states. But hey, that's part of the reason why we have a channel, because I'm pretty good at forecasting the weather here in the mid-Atlantic states. I don't care. Dirk says I work anywhere I work anywhere is it puts food on the table. People don't want to work. I mean, I guess some people don't. I like accomplishing stuff. So, like, eh, I just prefer to do things. It's way more fun than not doing things. Dubsack 420 says, bottle it up, yo, bottle it up. Send me the corks and the labels, brah. Dirk says, let it out, lol. Dirk says, merch manufacturer, you've been hit hard, right? That's no good. What? What are you talking about, dude? Huh? When your groceries get more expensive, you feel the pain, but the company's revenue actually goes up. That brings me to the point of trade deficits. A lot of people don't understand trade deficits, and they think that automatically, if there's a trade deficit between you and another entity, that it's bad. Okay? So let's look at it from a macro perspective. All right? We'll look at a macro and a micro perspective. From a macro perspective, if there is a trade deficit between you and China, between the US and China, is that a problem? The answer is no. There's supposed to be a trade deficit between the US and China because we buy a lot of things from China and China doesn't buy as many things from us. Now, we sell a bunch of things to China, but not as many as we used to because somebody is interfering with trade, and that person's name is Donald Trump. So, you see, there's this thing going on with the tariffs, and the tariffs are not reciprocal tariffs. Why Trump said that they're reciprocal tariffs at first, I have no idea. But it's a clear indication that he doesn't know what the word reciprocal means. Because when you apply a tariff to Vietnam with the goal of putting a resort there and then relax the tariff, like, you're living in a plutocratic corporatocracy, folks. It's a plutocratic corporatocracy. And it's pretty dark stuff. The point is, the U.S. has a trade deficit with China. And there's a reason for that. It's because China's really good at manufacturing like cheap plastic things. And the U.S. wants a lot of cheap plastic things. So we buy them from China. China's real good at making them as per the specs of all the U.S. companies and European companies and companies even in Asia. They manufacture stuff in China because China's real good at that. They can do it real cheap and get the results that they want for the amount of dollars spent. So that's why there's a trade deficit, because the U.S. doesn't make that much stuff in 2026. But there is some stuff that gets sent to China. So, but there's a trade deficit because China sends more stuff to the US than the US sends to China. That's not a problem. In the same way that you have a trade deficit with your grocery store, right? The grocery store sends a whole bunch of groceries to you, and you send money to the grocery store. You don't send the grocery store any groceries. So the trade deficit is like all your groceries. Like everything's only going one way there, right? Like in a country, if there's a country out there that we don't need anything from, but they need stuff from us, we're going to have a trade surplus. We're going to sell them corn or something, right? We'll sell them coal or oil or whatever. What's so hard to understand about this? There's a trade deficit in one way or another between every country. How is the trade going to be equal? Like, it's not supposed to be equal. The GDPs of these countries aren't equal. Nothing is equal ever. Like, everybody wants it. Everybody wants shit to be fair. In what universe has anything ever been fair in any way? Like, fair is one of the dumbest words that's overused. Like, you want a thing to be fair? How the hell do you determine what is fair? Like, when it benefits your side, you think it's fair. And when it benefits the other tribe, you think it's not fair? There's no such thing as a fair football game or a bike race or a debate. There's not one fair anything. There's not a fair fist fight, a fair MMA bout. Not one thing has ever been fair, ever. It's like you can create like an environment where two entities can compete against each other and they have the same variables to face, right? Like, was the Super Bowl fair? Was it fair? Were the Patriots a fair match for the Seahawks? Like, sometimes it's a complete blowout for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, NFC, baby. Suck it, New England. Suck it, New England. Hopefully Bill Belichick was rooting for the Seahawks. No, I don't care. I don't care what Bill Belichick did. Hopefully Bill Belichick and Tom Brady sat barefoot in a cave watching the game on an old black and white TV with bunny ears. That's what I want to see. I want to see Tom Brady and Bill Belichick barefoot in a cave. Can somebody make an AI image for us? I want to see Tom Brady and Bill Belichick barefoot in a cave with like tattered clothes watching the Super Bowl, both rooting for the Seahawks because they both hate the New England Patriots, just like I do. That'd be nice. All right, I see more comments. And welcome, Ms. Nichols. Ms. Nichols and all your paintings. Don't get any paint on the stream, woman. Dirk, the price of my merchandise has not increased. Tariffs are for Americans. So tariffs are for stuff coming into America. These are the tariffs that I'm talking about. Tariffs are for imported stuff, Dirk. Not for stuff that you get into. What? Why would tariffs affect your stuff? If you order stuff from our merch shop from outside the US, it's not going to be more expensive because tariffs. My God. Tariffs are applied to imported stuff. Jeez, dude. Oh, and by the way, we're going to raise the price on all of our merch. So I should announce that now. If you want to pick up any merch, folks, you should do it in the next, by spring, by the equinox. we are raising the margin on all of the merch, literally all of it. We're doing a blanket percentage increase in the merch cost because there's no way around it. Like it's not even a sustainable operation as it is, but the markup on the merch is too low because I've checked out the quality of the items and it's very high. Okay, here's one of the blankets. This is the plush throw blanket, and yo, this thing is high quality. Like the cost and the quality of the print job is insanely good. So like the designs that you can get right now in our merch shop linked in the description, they're not going to stay as cheap as they are. They're going to get more expensive, substantially more expensive. It's going to go up at least 10% blanket, probably more like 20 or 25% because the quality of the products is so high that it has to keep pace with inflation. Like we have no desire to be the cheapest content, the cheapest channel, the cheapest build your website for you company, the cheapest IT consultant, the cheapest insurance agent, the cheapest cyclist, the cheapest living billboard, right? Like I have no interest in any of that stuff. None, zero. I'm interested in undercutting nobody's price. Nobody's price. Like it might be the most expensive in some places. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But if you like the merch and you want to pick some up, now would be a good time because by spring it's going up a lot. And it's going to be all different. There might be products that are pulled completely, but they'll probably all just still be there because there's no incentive to take them down. I could put up 1,000 products tomorrow if I wanted to. So anyway, just figured I would share that with you because, you know, if you want to hire me to do graphic design, I might consider working for as low as $75 an hour for that. All right. If you want me to do video production, I might go as low as $150 per hour for that. Okay. If you want me to do something like promote your ads, that's a whole different thing. Like we can make ads for you on this channel. Like I can guarantee if you have a commercial you'd like me to make, I can guarantee a certain number of views out of it. You know what I mean? Like if you want 3,000, 10,000 views or whatever, like we can guarantee you'll get that many views out of your commercial. We know how it works. Like we have a monetized channel, we have a Google AdSense account, so we could boost any video for anything that any affiliate or sponsor wants. So, I mean, that's what's going to be coming in 2026. There's going to be like proper corporate affiliates and sponsors, and you're going to see more ads and things. You're going to see ads that are spliced into the videos and all kinds of stuff like that because there's no choice. And it's the channel has to do this stuff or it's not going to exist. It's as simple as that. So, I mean, you have to maximize things that increase your capabilities and minimize things that decrease your capabilities. But yeah, the merch prices haven't changed because of tariffs. And anything coming out of the US is not subject to US tariffs. That's for incoming stuff. And it's all not arbitrary. It's based on what country it's from. So this is part of what makes it so idiotic. Because first of all, the trade deficit is constantly changing. It's not like a magic number. It's not like, oh, the tariff, in order to make the, and a tariff shouldn't be proportional to the trade deficit anyway. Like none of this makes any sense. This is economic illiteracy at its finest. So like these Trumpian economic policies, they don't even make the slightest bit of sense to any economist. Like no economist looks at these tariffs and goes, oh, that makes sense. And it's stalling business all around the world because nobody knows what to invest in and where to invest it. Because the tariffs are an economic uncertainty. We have to know what is going to happen with the economy next if we're expected to delegate capital to things so that we can do stuff. You see, that's the way planning works. Okay? If you create an economic environment where nobody knows what's going to happen next because it's being run by madmen who are just going to arbitrarily put tariffs on things and ship Venezuelan oil money to offshore accounts in Qatar and accept aircraft from Qatari government officials, and like, when that's the environment, nobody trusts anything, nor should they, because they don't know what's going to happen next. It's really a problem because failure to plan is a plan to fail. And when you create an uncertain environment, nobody's willing to do anything. Everybody wants to sideline all of their money and capital and people and resources and everything because they're like, well, I guess I'll just have to wait this one out. And sometimes waiting a thing out is a vastly superior plan than going out in the hailstorm. So there's that. Most countries send base products to China. They send finished products back to our country. That's correct. Yes, a lot of commodities get sent to China, because they refine things, they do chemistry, they build things. They're a much older economy. Like they didn't become a first world nation until what, the 80s or something? There are still vast swaths of China where they don't have electricity and plumbing, folks. Parts of China are a fourth world nation. So China's all over the place. People think that China is just this homogenous thing. That China, like a homogenous thing. And it couldn't be further from the truth. China is a bunch of barely connected cantons of corrupt officials that are held together by bubblegum and dental floss. China's biggest danger is China. China's biggest danger is China and the massive corruption therein. Biggest. Did I lose signal there? China is the biggest government in the world, probably, and as a result, it's the biggest bureaucracy in the world, and as a result, it's probably the most corrupt entity in the history of the world. I mean, they got the most people. That's a pretty big claim to fame, isn't it? They got the most people. You know, Elon is drooling on China's nuts. Elon's like, "Oh, China, how can I be? China, how can China? You know, how can I? Can we move to Mars together, China? Because you've got the most people, China." You know, I spent 10 years with the smartest people in the two school districts which I attended. So between second and 12th grade, at least like once a week, most weeks during school, you know, I would meet up with people who have 130 plus IQs. And all of those people are able to compose a coherent sentence. This is a thing that's common to all 130 plus IQ people. They have a very high sense of self-preservation. We have a very low tolerance for bullshit. We have an extremely high understanding of cause and effect. We're extremely unlimited in our thinking if we have any formal training. And we're able to compose a coherent sentence. You notice a lot of people who are painted as really smart are unable to compose a coherent sentence. That one ended in a question mark. Here's a coherent sentence. Elon Musk isn't that smart. Milan Usk. Milan Usk. Is that his name? What's that guy's name? The guy with the dad bod who jumps up in the air and he occasionally does the arm thing. What's that guy? He's got fully self-crashing cars, and he keeps lying to investors about all kinds of things. And promising stuff for 10 years and never delivers it, you know, like by 2016 our cars are going to be fully self-driving. That was 10 years ago, bro. Well, anyway, I got to end this stream because it's getting very late. It's getting very late in the early, and I've got to end the stream because I've got to do things besides this. And but it's been delightful talking to you, and hopefully you are not massively engrossed in fraud that you believe. So hopefully you're able to have some level of discernment about something and hear somebody after they've lied to you 9,000 times consecutively with zero truth in the meantime. Oh, man. You know, 2 data points does not a pattern make. But if you lie to me 7,000 times, I'm probably going to call you a liar at that point. Because at that point, you are characterized by that many lies. That's like you 7,000 lies, I don't know, 3,700 lies, 3,700 appearances in the Epstein files. I mean, it's the Schleppburn files. The Schleppburn files have been really raising the cope. Let's end the stream with talking about the copium. I mean, yo, what an overdose of copium. All the QAnon said, release the files, release the Kraken, release the water to the dam that I'm standing right below. And then it's like, here you go, bitch. Then they get the files. Then it's like, let me dance around all of this information that destroys my worldview forever and my credibility. But let me not get out in front of it. Oh, no. Let me deny and cope instead. Oh my gosh, the cope levels. I mean, dude, I should watch Glenn Beck. I mean, I imagine Glenn Beck probably isn't talking about the files. I don't know how many times Glenn Beck appears in the files, but and look, I don't hate Glenn Beck. I don't hate David Pakman. Like, I'll watch whoever. We're gonna end this stream before 2 hours though. But yo, I forecasted the copium. All right, so 2 weeks ago, I forecasted the copium, and there is a worldwide copium overdose going on right now. I mean, there are sycophants all around the world who are just their foot is so deep in their mouth and their head is so far up there that they're just, I mean, copium, folks. Please give us a news story. Like, if a war breaks out today, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in the slightest if a war breaks out today, or even if a war breaks out today, you know, because you never know the difference between a war and a war. It's 2026, right, folks? So enjoy that copium overdose, but there's going to be a lot of it. A lot of people dancing around and saying, but you still hate Bill Gates, right? Everybody can agree that they hate Bill Gates, you know, like, oh my gosh. So anyway, yeah, it's time to close this thing out. I may stream later and do space weather and meteorology, and I may not. You'll have to stay tuned to the channel. If you're new, don't forget to press the subscribe button and press like, press share if you like. I don't care. But in any case, we'll see you soon here at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. And until next time, may that fraud be absent from your stream.